This road into Kennedy Space Center, I built it. And this hangar, the ones that the aircraft sit in, the one that this whole company flies out of, I helped build it too. But before any of this could exist, someone had to make Florida a place where space transportation could happen. How does a guy like me end up running a space company? This is where my story starts. I was born about 8 miles that way. So at the time, my mother was a switchboard operator for the Space Center. That was before men could go to the moon. I knew I was going to get into space my whole life because I just knew either from a business end or a policy end, I was going to get into space. After college, I went to work for the Florida Legislature. I worked for the Senate President and some other people, and then I wrote the Florida Space Transportation Act. I was the one that made space a mode of transportation like land, air, sea, and space. That was the significance of the 1999 Space Transportation Act. Then I went to work for the Florida Space Authority as Chief of Staff. This helped build the region to what it is today. This helped build the spaceport. The concept was a spaceport, like an airport or seaport. Before that, it was only big government contracts. After that, it was to act like an airport. And now, today, I'm sitting here as the Chief Executive Officer of Starfighters Space in this very hangar that I helped build years ago. My name is Tim Franta. How does a man like me become head of a publicly traded company like Starfighters Space that flies off the ground I helped build? Let me tell you the whole story. Nearly my whole career has been on the Florida Space Coast. In the legislature, in the Florida Space Authority, consulting for a decade in energy and space, and then finally to here. Long before becoming CEO of Starfighters Space, most of my career was spent doing the things behind the scenes for space that no one gets to see. The financing, there has to be money. The paperwork, there has to be regulation. And all the infrastructure, things have to be built in order to travel to space from. Every step of the way led me here to the chair I'm sitting in. I authored the Florida Space Transportation Act, the legislation that classified that space was a mode of transportation and was copied by 33 other states. This opened up the funding to start the road for space commercialization. Once that happened, the floodgates were open, and I started to finance and operate 2 launch pads and over $300 million of space infrastructure, including this hangar. And today I'm CEO of the company that flies right out of this hangar. Sometimes I feel I'm working with giants. Right down the road is SpaceX, the other direction is Blue Origin, and Amazon LEO satellites, Kuiper satellites are just right down the street. We're all within the few same square miles of Florida. I'm proud to say that the work I spent for years doing infrastructure and policy and legislation made it all possible for there now to be a true commercial space industry, and that operates very much like an airport, and we call it the spaceport. It's the biggest names in the business, and they're all operating in the same ecosystem. After the Florida Space Authority, I spent a decade working on space and energy at Energy Florida. Space is very much like energy, and I spent a decade as a special assistant and then deputy director creating business plans that were fundable and the infrastructure that could be developed. I joined Starfighters to develop the STARLAUNCH program, and now I'm CEO of the company. I've seen this business from every side, from the law, the financing, the infrastructure, and the business side. And that's exactly what it takes to run the whole company. Starship isn't built for one small payload, but Starfighters is for rapid deployment and rapid turnaround to get to space. This is why I wanted to start the STARLAUNCH program, an air launch system designed to get small payloads to space, using a supersonic rocket to get to altitude and speed to launch small payloads into space. I brought in senior operators from Blue Origin from New Glenn, people who have taken hardware from development to production to flight. That team, the fastest fleet of supersonic aircraft in the world, the facility at Kennedy, and a CEO who helped build the infrastructure and write the policy that this entire coast runs on. Each layer of this company is done by somebody who's already done the work, starting with me. Things are starting to get excited. We have completed wind tunnel testing to show clean separation from the aircraft, and things are progressing. This brings me back to where I started. I spent most of my career on this coast. I helped write the legislation, I worked on the infrastructure, and I helped build the road and the hangar and the office space this company operates off of. And now I'm CEO of Starfighters Space, running the company that flies off the infrastructure I helped develop. For me, that's not a job I stepped into. It's the place my entire career led me. My name is Tim Franta, and this is just the beginning.